Hello everyone. Today's flip through is about the free printable Rider-Waite tarot. When I started learning the tarot, I did not immediately buy any tarot card deck. I started with the free printable tarot card that you often see online. And when I started with it, I was not very particular with the size. I just printed it as I saw them. And the free printable that I started with was this one. It's a little bit big for me, but it served the purpose. I was able to easily shuffle it, and when I had this one, I laminated it into plastic. It had an advantage because when I travel, I could bring this card with me, and I did not have any worry about it getting wet. It suddenly became waterproof, and I did it. And it's easier for me to slide the cards, sort of like that, you know. So it's easier for me to slide the card, easier for me to shuffle. It easily returns to its shape when you do the shuffling. It served me well, and it helped me when I was in the process of learning how to use the tarot. This printable black and white Rider-Waite tarot deck, which is usually available online, and I will put a link on the description so that those who are interested to have a copy of it can make use of it. And so I started with this one, and then later on I kind of like the way it has been created. I find it easy to use them. It's a little bit slippery, but they're quite good, and I did not have to worry about it getting wet or whatever. It was easy for me to put it in a pocket of my backpack, and it was easy for me to do it. And so later on I become a little bit more particular with the size. I mean, I felt I wanted to have another version of it that is just easy to shuffle, like this one. So I came up with a smaller version of it. It still made use of the black and white, and as you can see, like the original one, the back portion is blank, but this time I made use of a colored paper. And so this is what happened, no? So when you look at it, the white, contrast of the white and the green colored, you know, a little bit darker, but it's something unique, you know? And it's smaller and easier to shuffle than the first one. And later on, just recently, I wanted to modify it even further. So I started putting a design on the back. But there is one disadvantage that I did. I printed the back separately from the front, and so I had to paste them together, and so it ended up a little bit thicker. The deck ended up a little bit thicker than this one. So when you compare them, yeah, it's a little bit thicker, you know, but not too much. It's still manageable. And this time, instead of using the black and white, I made use of the colored version. So as you can see, it was sort of like an improvement from a big card that is black and white and just white. I progressed into a colored one that is still black and white, and then later on I started putting a design on the back, and this time using a colored version of the Rider-Waite deck. Now, maybe another improvement that will be in the future is that instead of putting two papers together, just to have only the same like this one paper, but at the same time printing the back portion, having the back portion printed. So right now what we're going to do is sort of like a flip through comparison of these two small ones, so that you can have an idea of the difference between the black and white and the colored version of the tarot deck Both are laminated in plastic, so both are waterproof. And later on, we will show you how it is easy to shuffle it, and at the same time, it's quite handy. You know? So we'll start now comparing. Both designs have a certain beauty in them. Both the colored and the black and white are beautiful and interesting. I think it would be more striking if this card would be in white background instead of the green. But you can experiment on different colors like yellow, blue. It seems that white is quite attractive, at least for me. The colored version is also attractive. When you do it with a white background, there's a certain attractiveness of the colored version. In the description, we will be providing links. I created already the colored version with the size of 10 centimeters by 5.5 centimeters. It took me some time to adjust it to my hand size. If you are interested to have copy, I can provide a link in the description so that you will just have to print it. The background is also, I will also include the background so that you can also print it at the back of each page. Each page has about several cards in one page. So this time the smaller ones are handy, easy to shuffle, and at the same time waterproof. Note the design I made was borderless. So you have an option of making it borderless. Or you can also have an option of putting borders on it, depending on your preference. Okay. The first one, wherein the paper is not doubled, is easier to shuffle because it's not doubled, no? So yeah, it's easier to hold because it's not as thick as it is, no? At the same time, you can shuffle it easily also. The other one is a little thicker, but it's still manageable. You can still shuffle it. See. Also easy to shuffle because it's small. So for small hands, the size of 10 centimeters by 5.5 or 10 centimeters by 6 cm is also good. In comparison, this one is a little bigger. I don't know the size of this one, but this is the original tarot card I had, but it was also manageable. You can still hold it in your hand like this, and you can still shuffle it also like that. I guess when you start it, this one is a little bit easier to hold. I mean a little, you have to stretch your hand a little bit, but I mean, you have a lot of things to hold on to, and yes, you can shuffle it also. Well, because it's a little big, you can shuffle it this way, but you can still shuffle it this way also. This one is a little bigger for me, so it's a little bit more challenging to shuffle that way. So it depends on your preference. For me, I'm more comfortable having a 10 cm size card. Okay, so for those who still couldn't afford, I started trying to learn about it and I wasn't yet ready to invest on buying a deck of cards. So I started with the free printable one. And there's a beauty in it. I mean, it also developed some creativity on my part. I had to experiment on things from there to this one, and then later on putting a design at the back, you know. So it's sort of like for those who are interested in doing art projects and who enjoys the challenge of creating things, then a free printable tarot card is one good consideration that you might have. So again, just compare the thickness. This one is thinner, this one a little bit thicker, this one, yeah, still thinner than this one. So there you have it, 3 types of the original Rider-Waite Tarot, the free printable version. This one is available online. You can get it online. I will put the link in the description. This one's, because I already measured it to the right size, I will try to provide you a Word document copy of it so that if you are interested to print it the same size, you don't have to adjust it anymore. This one, when I did it, it's not yet very accurate. The sizes varied, and it was in my part of my learning process. Here I was a little bit more, I think I started with 10 by 6 and then later on I made it 10 by 5, but when I compared, it's relatively the same. The difference is only very small. See, it's only a very small difference. 10 by 5.5 and 10 by 6, almost the same. And when you look at it, the borders of the plastic lamination, I just made a very thin border, so it's almost negligible, just enough so that it will not burst open, just enough that it will be attached. But I had to place it through the lamination several times. Well, that's it for now. So for those who are interested to do their own printable tarot cards and you want to make them waterproof, then this is one project you can consider. Until next time, have a great day. This is a bonus flip through for those who are interested to see the difference between the colored and the green colored and the white background versions of the black and white. You can look at it this way. This is a bonus flip through. Now, one thing I failed to notice earlier is that to avoid a little bit being hurt by the edges of the laminated cards, I usually trim the edges. So I usually trim the edges so that it will be smooth, and when you shuffle, you will not be hurt too much by the edges of the laminated cards. Now, so here we're going to have a flip through of both the black and white with the white background and the green background. You can see a certain contrast in the letters that are used here, no? I think this one, the letters are more to the original one. This one is a little bit modified. Depending on the printer, you can have it dark or a little bit lighter. So you also need to choose which kind of printer you're going to use. So here you can see the contrast here. The size was not very equal, because I was not yet particular with the size. I didn't measure the size before, so when you look at it, the size is not accurate. I made adjustment in the cutting of the plastic lamination, so more or less when you shuffle it, the sizes of the card are equal. So this is one very important thing when you print. You have to make sure that the cards that you will print will be all of the same size. It was a learning process for me. So you see here, this one I was not yet very particular with the border. See, here a part has a border, the other part didn't have. No, so I was not very particular. During that time, I was not very particular with the artistic part. It was more of the having a card to use so that I can learn the tarot. So for me, just to have a deck of cards, even if the sizes and the borders are not accurate, I was happy already. But later on I was more particular. I preferred the borderless one, so I cut off all the borders, and here there is line, but here in the colored one I already removed the line so that it would be sort of like seamless. Well, for those who have endured up to this point, I thank you for your patience, and I hope this has been a very fruitful flip through comparison for you. Until next time, have a great day.